Roll up. It's the first listener question special of the season. I'm joined by two reprobates to answer your burning queries and hopefully have a little bit of fun along the way. Well then, folks, it should be good and listener questions. It's where we get to take the handbrake off. There will be some serious questions, of course, but stick around for plenty of fun. We'll get into it then straight away because we've been inundated as usual with questions. I want to start with this one from Joe Ricci nonetheless. Do we foresee the deployed formation against Newcastle with Foden tucking in from the right and Walker being a right wing outlet sticking around? How does it impact the other wingers' minutes? Do we have enough creativity with the setup, or will we eventually, do you think, Luke, fall back into that sort of free at the back? Let's call it a free at the back because there's all sorts of names we can say, but that we saw City have so much success with last season. Obviously, a few pieces of that are out injured, but I did find it very bizarre seeing Kyle Walker deployed as a right winger, I have to say, against Newcastle.
It was bizarre, but it worked. I suppose you can't really say anything more, and then it worked. I can't see it being a full sort of time formation. Really, we are stricken by injuries. We're stricken by sort of playing squad, the size of it at the moment in time. So I can't see us playing it for the full season. But at this moment in time, if it's working, it's working. Why not carry on with it? I did like it, but yeah, as you were saying, I feel like going back to the three at the back, the double pivot, the square, the whatever people are calling it nowadays. It's how we dominate and control games. Well, we showed it last year. We keep the ball very well. We're the best team on the ball in the Premier League, in my opinion. I can see us carrying on with that moving forward. But if you also think about it, if you look at the Premier League at the moment, there's quite a few teams who are also playing the same formation.
Just to round off the question from Joe, I would be surprised if we saw this formation as the go-to for no other reason, really, than the fact it would probably require Kyle Walker to play upwards of 40 games per season, and I'm not sure that's going to be the case, unless, of course, Jeremy Doku comes in and operates as that sort of wing-back, I guess is the best sort of name we sort of are familiar with. I don't know. I would expect when the likes of John Stones come back and the other bits and bobs, Bernardo Silva, I would expect us to revert to the back three. Here's a question that sort of ties into it, and Oliver, it was similar to what you were saying, so I'll throw it to you straight away, but it comes from Cypress P. And they ask us, how do we get more service to Haaland without Kevin De Bruyne? Will Phil Foden obviously have to step up and fill the void? And I'll tie in a separate question to this, but the addition of Jeremy Doku, I think, is somebody who, I think it was Joe himself mentioned it, is somebody who looks like he's being signed to help that creativity in terms of Haaland. In essence, are City short on creative assets, or will they still be able to feed Haaland in Kevin De Bruyne's absence?
I think in Kevin De Bruyne's absence, we have three primary creators for Haaland. One will be Doku, as you mentioned. He will create that wide threat, perhaps getting down the line, cutting inside, cutting the ball back, almost similar to how Sterling's operated in the past. I'm trying to think of who else we've had of a similar profile over
James
the years.
Milner?
Milner, possibly, maybe even Jesus Navas.
Oh, he definitely was not cutting balls back for strikers. He was cutting them back. Yeah, he was cutting them back, but they weren't for strikers. They were for the opposition midfielders when he overhit the cross.
Yeah, no. When he was actually striking the ball to aim at the net, he was effectively cutting it back for a striker. So,
yeah.
But no, that profile of player that we use there, where they're just going to be very direct, and I hope that we don't see. And admittedly, and I said this earlier, I don't know that much about Doku, but I know that he will be providing us a different type of threat that we have at the moment in the squad. So that's number one. Number two will be Foden in those half spaces. I mean, Dan Burn didn't know what to do. He didn't know where to go, where to stand, who to follow in that first. So come on, give the guy a bit of credit, right? Newcastle are a fantastic defensive unit, and still at the Etihad they limited us to one goal and Erling Haaland to zero. So, but he had a bit of a tough time, and I think if we are providing Foden those passes in those dangerous half spaces where it's going to pull the midfield back to cover him and pull a full-back or centre-half forward, that's going to create gaps for Haaland to run into. when we're kind of tight on space in the final third. When the game's a bit more open, one man, Kovacic. I think he is... We've seen flashes of it already, but that man knows how to find a 30, 40-yard pass. But across the three of them, between Doku, Foden and Kovacic, we've got that creativity, and I don't foresee a deficit going forward.
Okay then, Luke. Next question from Daniel MCFC04. Can you rank this season's outfield kits in order of best to worst? So we've obviously, it's for those listening on the podcast, home kit is the sort of 2003-04 throwback. The away kit is the one we played at Burnley, white, collared, maroon details. And the third kit is... The third kit, rank 'em. I may have already just did it myself then.
Yeah, the third kit is third. I've got no idea who's designed that, but fair enough. I've got no words to say about that. When it got released, everyone's reaction was, right, moving on.
Okay.
The away kit's growing on me. I would say I like the away kit. I'd say away kit's number one. It's growing on me. When I first saw
number one. When
I first saw it, I thought it was a pile of shit, and it is. And then at Burnley, I don't know. I like the detailing on it. It has grown on me a lot. I like weird and wonderful kits, and I think City have had quite a few weird and wonderful kits that have become synonymous. For example, Oliver Kirsch wearing the Email Mapenza special right there.
For the benefit of the tape, it is the traffic cone colour
0708
third kit.
0809 third kit, bright orange with yellow and black accents.
Yeah. And also the main reason why I'm going to put City's home kit as second is just because I preferred last year's kit. Last year's kit is just now going to be synonymous with that is the kit I'm going to think of as Man City's kit now. I think it is just iconic for me. So that's probably why. And yeah, get me that away shirt. DH-gate, the lot. Here we go.
Yeah, it's funny because following up from last season's home kit, both visually and with what City won in it, is the impossible job. It is the perfect kit for multiple reasons now. But I actually think I'm not going to say this season's is nicer because it's not. That would be a lie. But had we had one this year and this season's came out next year, I think people are talking about that as an instant classic. Oliver Kirsch, this season's free kits, outfield, home, away, third. Are you? I'm quite shocked Luke has put the away. Yeah. I thought that was a simple decision. I'm pretty shocked Luke's gone for the away kit first.
Yeah, no, in that order for me. I think part of the reason I love the home kit is that it just takes me back to the first season at the Etihad. Marked also a return to our own sky blue with those subtle vertical stripes. And this season's kit is kind of a reimagining of that. And I think the most iconic goal we scored in that kit was Trevor Sinclair to make it 3-1 against United. First derby at the Etihad. Maybe
next season we can pay tribute to Nolito or Wilfred Boney or someone like that from yesteryear. But my ranking then, I'm going to go home, third kit second, away kit last, without context. I don't like the away kit. I don't like the collar. I think the concept's really nice. The colours are great. I just cannot stand the collar. But I'm sure plenty of people will have different opinions, so let us know on social media, of course. Guys, we'll finish up with this question then from the Kipax Kid. And it might be the most unhinged question we've ever had on a listener question special. It goes as follows. Luke, you can take it up first. If a trio of City players were tasked with performing life-saving brain surgery on you, which three would you choose and why?
Well, definitely not Edison. Imagine Edison doing brain surgery.
But would he be very calm under pressure? Surely that's what you need as a brain surgeon. You need someone who's just going to be very precise and very unflustered. Surely he fits the bill. As I come to think of it, surely he is the man.
I mean, goalkeepers are known for being loose cannons. And he fits the bill. I've got no idea what he's going to do when he's got the ball at his feet, let alone when he's in my head. Let's be serious here. you've got to go for the sensible lads, haven't you? You've got to. Ruben Diaz is in there. He's going to organise everything. He's already got the tools lined up on his tray. Anti-back, whatever they do to. They've got the sterile kit everywhere.
Brain surgery takes place with anti-dental, anti-back.
Yeah, maybe not that. I meant like sterile kit. He's got everything already lined up. He's there, ready and waiting. I feel like. I don't know.
Bit of a spill. Fetch the bleach.
I mean, judging by some opinions I see on Twitter, there might be bleaching some brains. Let's just say that. And then John Stones is probably a good one in there as well. I feel like he's very calm under pressure. He has a very playful side, his fun side, but I feel like when he gets serious...
That's not what you want from a brain surgeon.
Hang on, when he gets serious, he's serious.
Haha, don't drop the scalpel.
Could be a good laugh. And then, I don't know. I'll just say Jack Grealish for vibes. If I'm going out, I'm going out well. That's all I want.
But yeah, let's go for who we actually think would be decent at brain surgery.
Yes. Surely we'll all go in Rodri.
Well, he is the brains, isn't he?
He is the brains. He's the brain of the team. He was at uni while he was at Atletico.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
wasn't he?
What did you do at uni? He's not a brain surgeon, though, is he, Ollie?
No, but he's a studious guy. You know, he'd be prepared. He'd put a
YouTube tutorial on.
That's what you want.
Do it in 5 minutes.
Just give me a minute. Let me just watch a YouTube tutorial on it.
It's got to be Rodders.
Yeah, Nathan Ake. I feel like he's up there, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's the man you trust with your life in your hands.
Yeah, possibly. Or Phil Foden, very good in tight spaces.
Yes, true.
Very steady and calm.
Yeah, maybe not in a brain operation. Going back to it, I think Edison. Just that sort of.
Akanji?
He could do the calculations. Yeah, perhaps.
Akanji's a shout.
But
he'd be the anaesthetist, right? He'd be body mass and
he'd be the nurse afterwards, checking up on you, making sure your bloods and your heart rate and whatnot are back up to scratch. But yeah, I'm going Edison. I think he's just that very sort of lucid, very calm, very emotionless figure. He looks scared. He looks frightened.
We're both shocked. We've got no idea.
I think
absolutely.
I'd rather have Ortega or Scott Carson, to be honest, over Edison.
I would not want Scott Carson.
Got life experience.
Bizarre shouts here. Oh my god.